I think we have to talk about Best International Picture nominee, It Was Just an Accident, especially in light of what's going on in Iran right now. Iranian writer-director Jafar Panahi was jailed by the authoritarian regime for making anti-government propaganda films. He's been banned from making films and has been doing so in secret despite the Iranian regime's threats of jail and legal action. Hey, I'm Mike. I studied film, I work in TV, and if you love movies as much as I do, hit that subscribe button and get notified when new content's posted. It Was Just an Accident won the Palme d'Or at the 2025 Cannes Film Festival and is nominated for Best International Feature at this year's Academy Awards. The entire film is shot in Iran in secret. They either weren't able to get or probably didn't want to get the necessary permits from the Islamic Republic to film there. This is partly because writer-director Jafar Panahi has been jailed for making anti-Islamic regime films, but also because the actresses in the film do not wear a hijab, as is required by the authoritarian government. So who is Jafar Panahi? Panahi is often considered to be a part of the Iranian new wave of filmmakers for his contributions to Iranian cinema after the 1979 revolution. He is only one of 4 filmmakers in history to win the top prize at all 3 of Europe's major film festivals: the Palme d'Or at Cannes, the Golden Bear at the Berlin Film Festival, and the Golden Lion at Venice. He stands with Michelangelo Antonioni, Robert Altman, and French filmmaker Henri-Georges Clouzot. Panahi's films have often been censored and banned in Iran for his portrayal of women, and in 2010, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison and a 20-year ban on filmmaking activities as imposed on him for creating propaganda against the Islamic Republic. But that didn't stop Panahi. In 2011, he made This Is Not a Film and continued to make movies that are kind of meta like that. They all dealt with his legal restrictions in one way or another. Then he made It Was Just an Accident, which dealt with the oppressive regime and their actions head-on. It follows Vahid, an auto mechanic who recognizes the distinctive sound of a prosthetic leg of one of his customers. He knows this sound as the chief guard at the political prison he was held in. So he kidnaps the man and rounds up several other inmates, including a female photographer, her slightly crazy ex-boyfriend, and a bride-to-be, who are all held captive in the same facility. They all want their revenge. But there's one problem. They aren't sure if it's him. You see, they were all blindfolded while held captive and have no visual reference for who Pegleg, as they called him, actually was. I'm not going to spoil the film for you, but if you're still following along, would you believe me when I say it's a comedy? A very, very dark comedy, but a comedy nonetheless. Panahi has an amazing trait of getting the audience so involved in the minutiae of the scene and then quickly zooming out, showing us all the ridiculousness of it. This isn't a spoiler, but throughout the film we're made keenly aware of the tip culture in Iran. It seems everyone is looking for a handout. At first it's benign, the guy pumping gas, but then it becomes ridiculous when a couple of security guards who are giving the gang some trouble expect to be tipped out to look the other way, but no one has cash. That's when the security guard pulls out a credit card terminal. I really enjoyed It Was Just an Accident. It's one of those movies that stays with you for a while after you watch it, making you consider what you would do in a similar situation. Essentially, the prisoners become the captors and have to really examine themselves and decide if they're as cruel as the man that was cruel to them. Are they capable of inflicting the same psychological damage to someone? Are they capable of murder? I think we need to talk about It Was Just an Accident specifically because of what's currently going on in Iran right now. I think it's important for silenced voices to be heard. Panahi made a defiant rebuke against the repressive Iranian regime, and the art community is shining a spotlight on it. I think it's up to us to go and see this film, talk about it, make sure what is happening there is known. There are a lot of good movies in the Best International Feature category this year, including Sentimental Value and Surat. Have I mentioned I wasn't crazy about The Secret Agent? But I don't think this one should be overlooked. And if Jafar Panahi ends up winning the Oscar for Best International Film, you had better believe the world will be listening. Anyway, those are my thoughts on It Was Just an Accident. I'd love to read yours in the comments below. As always, film is about community. I'm Mike, and I love movies.